again, Darklings, and welcome to the library of the Savage Mansion. Normally, I would be doing my intro from the field. However, if you haven't already guessed from this week's title, things at Mount Iser didn't go exactly to plan.
my darklings. Well, we made it to the top, to the very summit, to Mount Iser Confederate Cemetery. As you can see, the graves are more or less unmarked, with the exception of the obelisk behind me and a monument with what is listed as probable burials. They really don't know. When the graves were moved here from the trenches of war, from the Battle of Rich Mountain, they have probable burial names. I was raised that you walk between graves, not over them. So this is going to be a little uncomfortable for me, and men, boys, soldiers, I greatly apologize for not knowing where exactly you are interred, how you lay, and possibly walking over some of you. I have no other way to do this, so shall we continue? The plaque before me was laid during a rededication ceremony in 2000. July of 2000 to be specific. And it gives, again, a list of probable burials for the site outlined in iron and concrete. Below are interred Confederate soldiers and a civilian courier from the 20th Virginia Infantry, the 14th Virginia Cavalry, the 25th Virginia Infantry, the 62nd Virginia Infantry, the Lee Battery, other forces, and of course the civilian courier. The obelisk on this side is not marked. I don't remember seeing anything on the other side. To the Confederate soldiers resting here, and to all who wore the gray, lest we forget, erected by the Randolph chapter, United Daughters of the Confederacy in 1908. I think it says a lot to the character of Hart, who lived at the top of Rich Mountain following the battle and saw all of these Confederate soldiers, men laid in trenches and essentially forgotten by everyone else as the tides of war moved on to further battles by the Union, and said these men needed to be placed somewhere official, because they easily could have just been left in those trenches and forgotten. especially considering it was now Union territory and these were essentially rebels. It says a lot for the character of the men and the people of this area, even after it became Union territory. And people in this area were very much divided over the war, over whether they wanted to become a Union state and become what became West Virginia, or stay, as it was at the time, part of rebel Virginia, the capital of the Confederacy. History can easily be forgotten. It's places like this that if you take the time to wander up a hill, or in this case a mountain, and take the windy road up the hill, up the dirt path, in quiet contemplation, and just listen to the trees, sometimes you're forced to remember, and that's not always a bad thing. So, until next time, darklings, stay dark, stay weird, and always remember, and of course, travel on.
Hello, Darklings. I'm back home in the office of the Savage Mansion. Just wanted to give you an update. After I wrapped filming up at the Mount Iser Confederate Cemetery, I just turned off the camera and I saw some movement out of the corner of my eye, and it was a Randolph County sheriff. I got the cops called on me. Evidently, where I parked was private property. Where GPS sends you is onto someone's private drive. And where you think is a parking lot is not. So, be aware. Don't trust GPS. Find alternative parking, and you will have a walk ahead of you. Cops were nice about it, though. I explained the situation. They just asked what I was doing up there. They checked my ID and escorted me down the mountain. The guy, his kids play down there. I understand. I'm a mom. So, but yeah, and even the cops don't know exactly where the public parking would be. So, I'm going to try getting a hold of the Randolph County Historical Society that owns the cemetery to find out where they suggest or where the actual parking is and where the access is, because the only trailhead I saw was to the two main gates. Which actually leads to the guy's private property. So, but down from there is a trailer park and some city streets. So I don't know if there's an option for parking down there, perhaps. So if you go, it's buyer beware. You're probably going to have to look for some parking. and it's going to be a little bit of a hike, but it's better than getting the cops called on you. But yeah, they can't stop you from getting to the cemetery, but just, you're going to have to walk to get to it. Just forewarning, don't make the mistake I did, because they will call the cops. So until next time.